Now, I don't want to hold you guys up too much, so you already know. Let's go ahead and get into the first article. Now, this first article has to do with Elon Musk wanting to pause dangerous AI or artificial intelligence development. Bill Gates disagrees, and he is not the only one. As you guys know, Bill Gates is the co-founder of Microsoft. So with Microsoft being a company that directly profits from the growth of AI, is it really surprising that Bill Gates disagrees? And he's like, no, push forward. Yes, AI. No, that shouldn't seem weird to you guys at all. Got me a little drink because we got a lot to talk about today, people. Now, it says here, if you've heard a lot of pro AI chatter in recent days, you're probably not alone. AI has been all over the internet. Even I'm contributing to it by all the videos I've made about AI, so I'm a part of the problem. Now it says AI developers, prominent AI ethicists, and even Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates have spent the past week defending their work. That's in a response to an open letter published last week by the Future of Life Institute, signed by Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. I wonder why Steve Wozniak from Apple is not, really going for AI. I would think that he, would want to be a part of that. But you really don't hear too much about Apple's AI really improving too much. As we know, they have Siri. But at this point, Siri is pretty much old news, Now it says calling for a 6-month halt to work on AI systems that can compete with human level intelligence. The letter, which now has more than 13,500 signatures, expressed fear that the dangerous race to develop programs like OpenAI's ChatGPT, which is what I was using at work, it worked very well. Essentially, what I was doing was for an auction, we were, using it to get details on specific types of cars, specific types of brands, and it was writing it out in a very human-like form to the point where, you could kind of tell that a robot wrote it, but it wouldn't really bother you because it still had that human feel, that human element. Microsoft's Bing AI chatbot and Alphabet or Google's Bard could have negative consequences if left unchecked, from widespread disinformation to the ceding of human jobs to machines. So they're basically saying, this could be a problem because for one, obviously misinformation. If you go into ChatGPT or something like that and you type in a question and it spits you the wrong information, that could lead the public to feel certain types of ways that they shouldn't, that aren't fact-based, because they're not going in really doing the research. All they're doing is just typing it in, hitting enter, and then going off of whatever the ChatGPT or the AI says. Also, as we know, things like McDonald's, how now a lot of the McDonald's that you go in, the cooks are in the back, but no one's in the front. You know what I'm saying? You just order your food off the machine and everything, and then they come in, they bring it to you, kind of taking out that human element. So that could also pose an issue because any job that can be replaced with AI, these people are going to be fearful for their jobs, as they should, which is why I've been recommending people, anyone who has a job that they believe AI could get to the level where it could, supersede their job and everything like that, I would definitely say either go into a different industry, possibly learn a new skill, maybe heighten your skills to the point where something like that wouldn't be possible, because this seems to be the direction we're going, and it could be really bad if you're, in a position like that. Now it says, but large swaths of the tech industry, including at least one of the biggest luminaries, I'm not sure what that is. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. Also, if you guys enjoy this type of content, like, comment, subscribe, and everything like that to help the channel grow. For sure. We've been having a lot of growth. I appreciate all the love you guys have been showing and everything like that. I appreciate you guys. Now, Gates told Reuters on Monday, I don't think asking one particular group to pause solves the challenges. A pause would be difficult to enforce across a global industry, though he agreed that the industry needs more research to identify the tricky areas. Essentially, it seems like he's protecting his business. We all love Bill Gates over here. Traditionally, Bill Gates is a very humble man. He, very smart guy and everything like that. But Right now it sounds like he's defending his industry. As we all know, yes, there are a lot of people working on AI, but the real players in the game, the real people that are creating that type of danger, there's not a lot of them. It's like Google, Microsoft, you know what I'm saying? All of those, it's a few, of those tech monopolies that are really having a say in this. So I feel like that's kind of a little disingenuous because we know it would be easy to get 5 companies that are actually making moves to stop. But if we were to break down to the smaller companies that really aren't going to make moves like that, at least not anytime soon, then, what I'm saying, it doesn't have as much of an effect. And it says that's what makes the debate interesting, experts say. The open letter may cite some legitimate concerns, but its proposed solution seems impossible to achieve. Here's why and what could happen next, from government regulations to potential robot uprising. It says what are Musk and Wolonek concerned about? So it says the open letter's concerns are relatively straightforward. Recent months have seen AI labs locked in and out of control race to develop and deploy ever more powerful digital minds that no one, not even their creators, can understand, predict, or reliably control. AI systems often come with program biases, which would be an issue. Obviously, if you're dealing with some type of AI or a robot, the robot having a type of bias like a human is a negative thing, because that's the whole point of having AI, artificial intelligence, is you want that human element there, but you don't want it to have elements like a certain bias towards it, use something, a certain subject. You want it to be strictly based on the facts. Now it says they can spread misinformation. It's easy to imagine companies trying to save money by replacing human jobs. That makes sense. You buy the robot does the job until it pretty much breaks down. You break down, it fixes it. A person, you're going to have to deal with firings, rehirings, certain things like that, mistakes that humans could make that could possibly put the business at risk, everything like that. The emotional aspect of humans that you don't have to deal with a robot. You tell a human, hey, like, can you go sweep that floor? They may just say, hey, Becky hasn't swept the floor in 3 days. You know what the robot's gonna do? You press play on the robot's just gonna go do its thing. You feel me? Now, it says Italy has already temporarily banned ChatGPT over privacy issues stemming from OpenAI data breach. The UK, so I didn't know that this has actually been banned. The UK government published regulation recommendations last week, and the European Consumer Organization called on lawmakers across Europe to ramp up regulations too. And if you guys have been watching the videos, I do believe that we do need to have kind of regulations around this. As a person who works in IT, I'm not fully onto the idea of holding companies back or holding the human race back from being innovative at all. But when it comes to the point that it could be potentially dangerous, and to me, AI could be dangerous in a multitude of ways. You know what I'm saying? Then that's something that we kind of got to look into it. Think about people who may be able to not even have social interaction and things like that. It could become to a point where people start talking to AI, to kind of feel like they have that human interaction, and everything like that. And I think that that's one of the scariest things about it, because even though it seems like that could be good, to me, that's a short-term goal to something that could really become a long-term issue. Now it says in the U.S., some members of Congress have called for new laws to regulate AI technology. Last month, the FTC issued guidance for business developing such chatbots, implying that the federal government is keeping a close eye on AI systems that can be used by fraudsters. Now, it says, and multiple state privacy laws passed last year aim to force companies to disclose when and how their AI products work and give us customers a chance to opt out of providing personal data for AI automated decisions. They're active in California, Connecticut, Colorado, Utah, and Virginia. So, obviously the AI developers are going to have to clap back. They're going to have to clap back. They can't just let everybody be so scared about it, and this is how they make their money. This is their bread and butter. So let's see what they have to say. Now it says at least one AI safety and research company isn't worried yet. Current technologies don't pose an imminent concern. San Francisco-based Anthropic wrote in a blog post last month. Now, they received a Of course they said that. It says here they received a $400 million investment from Google in February, and that Google has its own chatbot. Of course they're defending it. They just got $400 million investments from Google. That's like lobbying. The government, you give money to certain politicians, certain groups, and then they push the policy for it. It's pretty much the same thing here. Google invests into this company. This company says a good thing about AI. Why? Because they want that money coming in. And this isn't a small amount of money. It's $400 million. Any business is going to take $400 million deal quite serious. Now it says, AI systems could become much more powerful over the next decade, and building guardrails now can help reduce risk down the road. Yeah, I think that's important too. Like, I don't believe it's a problem now, just being able to type something and something spits back out. We've had that for years. We've had that for, possibly decades, and everything like that. And it hasn't really caused too much problems, but you just want to have those guidelines ready before it gets out of hand. That's the point. You don't want to be, you don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to be proactive. You don't want to, oh, it's an iRobot situation. Now robots are trying to run the world. And now we're like, oh, maybe we should add regulations. Nah, you want those regulations already in place so, those issues don't even occur in the first place. Now, the open letter's ability to prompt conversation around the topic is useful, said a spokesperson that told CNBC Make It. They didn't specify whether Anthropic would support a 6-month cause. They're not going to support it. They got $400 million from somebody making one of the biggest AIs. They're not going to support it. Let's keep it a stack. Now, they acknowledged that OpenAI CI acknowledged that an effective global regulatory framework, including democratic governance and sufficient coordination among leading artificial general intelligence companies could help. But Altman, whose Microsoft-funded company makes ChatGPT and helped develop Bing's AI chatbot, which was the one that actually beat out Google's earlier. It was the Microsoft one is supposedly better than Google. It was a whole thing. They were kind of beefing, and that's why this is advancing so fast, because nobody wants to get beat. Google doesn't want Microsoft beating them out. Microsoft doesn't want Google beating them out. So they got their engineers working on overtime because they know the other companies got their engineers working on overtime. You feel me? So it says some researchers raise another issue. Pausing research could stifle progress in a fast-moving industry and allow authoritarian countries developing their own AI systems to get ahead. So he's basically saying, hey, if you're not going to let us do it, somebody's going to be doing it anyway. And that could possibly be somebody who isn't, a positive asset to the world. Highlighting AI's potential threats could encourage bad actors to embrace the technology for nefarious, which is pretty much bad purposes, said Richard Scocher, an AI researcher and CEO of AI-backed search engine startup U.com. Okay. Now, it says, what happens now? The muted response to the open letter from AI developers seems to indicate that tech giants and startups are unlikely to voluntarily halt their work. It calls for increased government regulation. It appears more likely, especially since lawmakers in the US and Europe are already pushing for transparency from these AI developers. Now it says the FTC could establish rules requiring AI developers to train new systems with datasets that don't include misinformation or implicit bias, and increase testing of these products before and after they're released to the public. That's what I kind of think would be good. A system of checks and balances, everything like that, where it's like, okay, here's our AI, here's how it works. The government kind of looks at it, they decide if it's got the okay, a board of artificial intelligence, they give it the green light and then it's allowed to pass. Or if they think, oh, this could be kind of harmful, it's spreading a lot of information, they may say, hey, you need to take this back and then come back in a few months, come back in a few years, and then, do everything like that to promote the safety. I'm all one for a system of checks and balances. Now, such efforts need to be in place before tech advances any further, says Stuart Russell, a Berkeley University computer scientist and leading AI researcher who co-signed the then open letter. A pause could give tech companies more time to prove that their AI systems don't present an undue risk, which I think would be good. I'm actually more for the pause in AI in general. Like social media kind of made me realize that as social media rose, we don't like to talk about it, but depression rose, mental health rose, and overall just even though business wise, we were able, and technically there was able to be more social interaction, it's not that real healthy social interaction, and it didn't promote that. And this is causing a lot of mental issues. If there had been possibly more regulation, more guidelines, more look into it, more research before, then maybe we wouldn't be dealing with as much mental health issues as we are that are a result of social media. Now it says both sides do seem to agree on one thing. The worst case scenarios of rapid AI development are worth preventing. In the short term, that means providing AI product users with transparency and protecting them from scammers. In the long term, that could mean keeping AI systems from surpassing human level intelligence and maintaining an ability to control it effectively. It's going to be human intelligence, like for sure, very soon. Once you start to make machines that are rivaling and surpassing humans with intelligence, it's going to be very difficult for us to survive. Gates told BBC Pause back in 2015. It's just an inevitability. So let's see. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that there should be a pause and everything like this so we can kind of see, all right, is this going to influence humans in a negative way? And this going to start becoming an iRobot, type of situation where it could be really dangerous, people losing their jobs and just overall negative to the general good of society? Or do you guys think as humans, our job is to be innovative? We're supposed to be creative. That's what separates us from animals. Why would we slow down the knowledge, that we could have? I'm very much kind of in the middle. As I said, I work in IT, so I'm very conflicted on this. I'm not really a high advocate for slowing down technology, but when I do feel like it can come at the expense of the human race, then that becomes a problem. So let me know what you guys think about that in the below, and also like, comment, and subscribe if you guys like this type of content. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the next topic soon.